All right. Operating manual model U25 diesel electric locomotive General Electric. Okay, operating manual General Electric model U25 diesel electric locomotive. These instructions do not purport to cover all details and variation of the equipment, nor to provide with every possible contingency to be met with the connection, installation, operation, maintenance. So, as further information be desired, should a particular problem arise which are not covered sufficiently for the purchaser's purpose, the material should be referred to the General Electric Company. All right. General data, operating controls, introduction, master controls, engine control panel, miscellaneous controls, air equipment, air brake equipment, duplex air gauge, cutout, cocks, adjusting valves, automatic alarm, safeguard, circuit breakers, color lights and bells, low oil light, hot engine light, no battery charge, ground relay, the PCS switch, wheel slip, engine overspeed shutdown, safety control, foot pedal, emergency sanding, locomotive operate overspeed, gauges and measuring devices, pressure, temperature gauges, and other gauges, preparation for operation before boarding, locomotive after boarding, locomotive starting engine before moving the locomotive faster, air pumping. Operation procedures: moving a train, stopping a train, reversing a locomotive, passing through water, passing over railroad crossings, wheel slipping top engine before leaving a locomotive, and safety controls, dynamic brake operations, applying dynamic braking, use the air brakes during dynamic braking, release the dynamic brake, multiple unit operation, unit lead operation is the leading unit, operation is the trailing unit, changing operator ends to operate with other types of units, brake pipe leakage, test deadheaded and drained water system. All right, models UB25 and U25B and U25C, horsepower 2500 type, the AAR symbols BB and CC. Major dimensions: overall length and inside knuckles, 60 foot 2 inches, 64 foot 6 inches overall width, 10 foot 7 inches overall height and above, 14 foot 7 inches, 14 foot 10 inches length between center plates, 36 feet 2 inches, 42 feet. Total wheelbase 45 foot 6 inches, 49 foot 10 inches. Truck wheelbase 9 foot 4 inches, 13 foot. All right, drive motors, 4 GE 752s and 6 GE 752s. Wheel diameter 40 inches. Weight: typical total weight of 2,900 gallon fuel tank, 260,000 pounds or 360,000 pounds. Total on drivers 260,000 pounds, 360,000 pounds per axle, 65,000 pounds and 60,000 pounds. Supplies: fuel 2,900 gallons, lubricating oil 365 gallons, cooling water 290 gallons, governor oil 2 quarts, sanding cubic feet 32 foot, air brakes 26Ls. All right. One is the 13EL bell ringer. Two is the air regulating valve, feed valve. 3, automatic brake valve. 4, independent brake valve. 5, selector handles. 6, generating field circuit breaker. 7, PCS open light. 8, headlight switch. 9, emergency shutdown switch. 10, call button. 11, power unit, power light switch. 12, brake warning light. 13, wheel slip light. 14, reverse handle. 15, light switches. 16, safety control pedal. 17, throttle handle. 18, sander control. And 19, odor light window wiper control. All right, operation controls, introduction. All the other operating devices manually, visually, normally used by the engine during the locomotive operation are located near the operator's position. Most of these devices are located either in the master control, on the air brake stand, or on the engine control panel. Note that customer equipment requirements often differ from one railroad to another. Their physical locations appear in some different devices illustrated with the manually or may not agree entirely with the equipment furnished on the particular railroad. Master control. The master control is set up with a switch used by the operator to control the locomotive, the throttle handle, and selector handle, and the reverse handle. These handles control monitoring and dynamic braking. If you use various control switches, circuit breakers, indicating lights are mounted on the housing of the control. controller, a mechanical interlocking between handles, preventing the improper operation of any of the handles. See interlocking between handles, throttle handle. See figure 1 and 2. Throttle handle has an idle and 8 major or 8 intermediate position, and 8 major and 8 intermediate positions are notches. Major notches are registered by a number. Intermediate notches are registered by a dot or a quarter or half mark. The handle brake and the hand control tractive effort when motoring, braking effort when dynamic braking is being used. Alright, figure 2 shows the master control handling position, monitoring positions 1 through 2, 3, 8, and 4. Off position, select handle, braking position, piston, full on, reverse, and off position of reverse handle, and the idle position of the throttle handle. Your reverse handle, see figure 1 and 2. The reverse handle is in the position forward, off of or reverse. It is used to control the direction of the movement. So here's right here this is your reverse handle. It's used to control the direction of the movement. Your selector handle it has position 4, 3, 2, 1 off, and B. The numbered positions are used when monitoring. Position B is used for the dynamic braking and orderly operation. Since all U25 locomotives are equipped with automatic transmission, the selector handle may be placed in position 1 during the monitoring and left there. Position 2, 3, and 4 are used for the used to provide transition for the locomotive units with multiple operations, and are not equipped with the automatic transition. Handle movements is governed by the transition speed over the locomotive units and consists interlocking between handles. Interlocking between the handles of the master control governed with the following manner. The reverse handle can be taken only taken off only when in the off position. The selector handle must be also off or 1, and throttle handle idle position. The reverse handle can be moved unless the selector handle is off. The reverse handle cannot be moved unless the selector handle is off. Or at 1, or throttle is an idle. Throttle handle can be advanced from idle unless cannot be advanced from idle unless the selector handle is in 1, 2, 3, or 4, or B. Throttle handle can be moved from the reverse handle in any position. Selector handle cannot be moved into B. Braking unless the throttle handle is in idle and the reverse handle is in a forward or reverse device. Or master control housing. See figure 1. The following operation device is located with the master control housing multiple unit emergency shutdown switch. The switch has 2 positions: stop and run. Normal position of the run. When the switch is turned to the stop, the diesel engine on all units, multiple unit locomotives consist will shut down. The switch is provided for emergency use only. Normal shutdown should be made by moving the throttle to idle engine control switch, or EC, the engine control switch, start, and depressing the stop button on the engine control panel. If the emergency shutdown, the engine control switch must be turned to start, and the engine must be restarted in a normal manner. Power limit switch. The switch has 2 position, normal and not 7. When the locomotive units have the same horsepower are operated in the locomotive consists the switch is ordinarily in the normal position. When the leading of is using a slipping excessively, the power limit switch can be moved to notch 7 to reduce power while trailing units are operating at full power. This will reduce the tractive effort on the leading unit and will usually improve the ability of the locomotive to hold the rail under the bad rail conditions. When other locomotives in low horsepower ratings are operated with consistent under certain conditions, the switch must be moved to the notch 7 position unless the locomotives are equipped with the automatic power matching control. Other switches are the front headlight, rear headlight, step lights, and gauge lights, and dimmer control. The call button is used to sound the alarm being all bell in all locomotive units. The wheel slip light is a light that indicates pairs of wheels while slipping. The PCS open light indicates the PCS switch is open and not have been reset. Your generator field circuit breaker. The generator field circuit breaker is on whenever the locomotive is powered. The brake wheel may also be used to maintain the generator de-energized, which is necessary to run the engine at speed higher than idle. Engine control panel. The engine control panel is located at the rear wall of the operator's cab. See figure 3, mounted with the panel with the various other switches, circuit breakers, other operating devices during locomotive operation. Engine control switch. See figure 3. The engine control switch has 2 positions: start, run, and the engine start button is effective only when the engine control switch is in the start position. When the engine is running, the engine control switch is in the start position. The engine speed is held at an idle, and power cannot be applied to the locomotive. The power plant is said to be offline. When the engine is idling and the locomotive is to be operated, the engine control switch must be moved to the run position. Alright, over here you see figure 3 from the top, white 1 through 8 in the top line, and then 9, battery from left to right, battery charging circuit, running lights, headlights, control, fuel pump, optional equipment, slipping, suppression cutout, and then 9 through 12, and then, below that, from left to right, is hot engine, low oil, no battery charge, low water. Then 13 is all by itself on that part of the right of that column, which is light switches. 14 is in the next column across. It's 14 through 16. Fuel pump reset, engine start, engine stop, emergency stop. And then there's a 17 below that in the next column, ground relay trip indicator. And below that, there's an 18 ground relay reset. Then from the below the 14, 15, and 16, from left to right, there's 19 through 21. Multiple unit headlight setup switch, engine control switch, motor cutout switch optional. And then there's 3 dials, 22, 23, and 24. Fuel oil pressure, lube oil pressure, 24 turbo intake manifold air pressure. Alright, your engine start and stop button, see figure 3, which is 15 and 16. Firmly hold the unit and to start the diesel engine, depress the engine start the button and firmly and hold until the engine starts. To stop the engine, depress the stop button momentarily. The engine start button is effectively only with the engine control switch is in the start position. Multiple unit headlight setup switch, see figure 4. Multiple unit headlight setup switch is 5 position switch to determine the location of the locomotive using a unit consisting of whether the front of the locomotive unit is leading or trailing, or switch positions are as follows. Single or middle unit placed in the position or any locomotive unit operated singly, and all units except the leading or trail when locomotive consists is made up of more than one unit. Short hood lead unit which is placed the switch is in position when the lead unit is operated with a short hood forward. Long hood head, long hood leading unit places the switch. Place the switch in the position where the leading unit is operated with long hood forward. Short hood trailing unit places in position with the final trailing unit and connected with the short hood trails. Long hood trailing unit places the switch in the position with the final trailing locomotive connected with the long hood trails. Alright, figure M shows the multiple unit headlight setup switch from long hood trails to trailing unit, short hood trails, single middle or units, leading unit, short hood lead, long hood lead. Multiple unit braking selector switch. The multiple unit dynamic braking selector switch, when installed, is furnished with several types depending on the request of the railroad. Position the selector when it is according with the direction of the nameplate and according with the railroad rules. Selectors must be positioned before leaving the terminal and must not be changed even if the engine is isolated en route. Motor cutout switch. See figure 3. The motor cutout switch, if installed, can be used to cut one or more traction motors at the same time. Power output of the locomotive will reduce the operation of the motor cutoff switch. Do not eliminate the ground fault in the power circuit. Under emergency conditions, the locomotive may be operated for a short period of time with one or more cutouts. Refer to the railroad rules for specific details in operation. Circuit breaker or the engine control panel. On the circuit breakers on the engine control panel, see figure 3. The following circuit breakers are located on the engine control panel. Charging circuit isolates the battery charging generator from the control system. Running lights, all lights except the headlights, control, fuel pump. Switches on the engine control panel, figure 3. The following switches are located on the engine control panel. Hood, engine control compartment lights, rear classification lights, front classification lights, 4. Front number lights, 5. Rear number lights, 6. Multiple unit walkway lights if equipped, 7. Slip suppression cutout normally with the switch is sealed with the up closed position. The switch should only be opened as directed by the railroad regulations. Ground relay, see figure 3. Ground relay is furnished to protect the power of the control circuit with indication power pointer moved. The red dot the bell rings will relay that has a chip. The reset button must be pushed to reset the relay. Alright, miscellaneous controls. In addition to the forward described operating device, the following other controls are used with the engine during the locomotive operations. 1. The bell valve mounted with the engine brake stand. See figure 1. Horn valve mounted on the ceiling of the operator's cab, operated with a pull cord. See figure 1. Standard control mounted on the right side of the wall, engine position, see figure 1, which window shield wiper valve located on the ceiling over the engine's fireman position, handbrake located on the outside of the nose compartment, low nose, locomotive fireman's emergency valve knob located on the front left of the bulkhead in the operator's cab, pulling the knob causes the full emergency brake application dropping over the power. 7. Emergency fuel cutoff system. In emergency, any one of the 3 electrical push buttons may be depressed monetarily to cut off the fuel delivery shutdown shut down the engine. One of the buttons is located on each side of the locomotive near the fuel tank. The third button, engine stop, is located on the engine control panel and is also used normally shutting down the engine. Note: the emergency cutoff button is used to shut down the engine on one unit only. The emergency shutdown switch on the master control is used to shut down the engines on all units of consist. 8. Your fuel trip reset button. The fuel tree rips reset button is on the engine control panel. Must be pressed before depressing the engine start button for the engine starting. After the emergency fuel cutoff button has been depressed. 9. The cab heater of the cab is regulated with the turning of the regulating valve. Lower right hand side of the cab heater of the desired heat delivery. Adjust the levers on the side of the heater on suitable air deflection. Caution: to prevent heater from freezing in the cold weather, leave the valves open at all times. 10. Window defrost. The heat of the window defrosting is controlled with the same regulation valve which controls the cab heat. Defrosting may be controlled at each window by sliding of the multiple holes, slide point, and window frame as desired. 11. Cab ventilation. Cab ventilation is controlled by the position and operated in the base for the cab heater as desired during the long period of the dynamic braking, and the lever should be moved to the closed position. Alright, air equipment. The schedule of 26L equipment arranged with a single multiple unit operation usually the locomotive. The principal parts are the 26C brake valve. The brake valve consists of 2 separate valves: the automatic brake valve, independent brake valve. The automatic valve is designed with regulating the brake pipe pressure with the control of both locomotive and train brakes. The independent valve is applying the release of the locomotive brakes, independent of the train brakes. Independent valves also control the release of the locomotive brakes due to the automatic brake application without releasing the train and brakes. Automatic brake valve handle. See Figure 5. It has 6 positions. 1. Release the running position. The position charged with the equipment. Release the locomotive of the train brakes after an automatic application accomplished by controlling airflow with the brake pipe as set with the handle position regulating on the back of the brake stand. The position extremely left with the quadrant in normal position where the automatic brake is not in use. 2. The minimum reduction position. The position is located with the right of the release position where the brake valve handle reaches the first raised portion of the quadrant. With the brake valve handle moved in the position, light surface application is obtained, with resulting in the 6 to 8 pound brake pipe reduction. Service position. The service position consists of the sector brake valve handle movement to the right of the minimum reduction position. Moving the brake valve handle to the left of the right of the sector increase the degree of the brake application at the extreme right of the sector. Full service brake application is obtained. 4. Suppression position. The position located with the handle against the second raised position quadrant. The right of the release position. The position provides full service brake application, brake valve handle in the full service position. Additional non-locomotive units so equipped with the overspeed control and safety control application suppress. 5. Handle in the off position is located with the quadrant notch right of the suppression position. When the handle is removed with the position, it must be placed in the position removed with the trailing units, multiple unit locomotive, or on a locomotive being towed in the dead end train. 6. Your emergency valve. The position located with extreme right of the brake valve quadrant is used to making brake valve emergency brake applications. When emergency application is received, the automatic brake valve handle has been moved to the emergency position left of the position until the equalizing reservoir gauge hand indicates 0 pressure. The automatic brake valve handle must be then moved to release position to charge the brake pipe. If equipped with overspeed protection, the overspeed control function surface brake application is made about 5 seconds after the warning whistle sounds, leaving the automatic brake valve handle in the release position during the initial reduction, approximately 9 pounds, approximately 21 seconds after stopping the starting of the reduction, indication of further dropping equalizing reserve pressure, moving the automatic brake valve handle to the suppression position and leaving it in the position until the application gauge shows not less than 125 feet of the pressure, then move the automatic brake valve handle in the release position. Alright, in Figure 5, you see the automatic brake valve handle position. You see the regulating valve, the brake stand move from release, and the automatic handle is moved from left to right, moving the brake from left to right. You hit the automatic the release, minimum reduction, full service suppression, handle off, and emergency. Interbrand brake valve. See Figure 1. Applies release of the brake for the locomotive unit, release of the brake locomotive unit until the automatic emergency application. Interbrand brake valve has 2 positions: release and full application. The application zone is between the brake of the valve with the self-lapping automatic laps for the flow of the airflow, maintaining the brake cylinder pressure with the application pressure. Reaches the pressure corresponding with the position of the handle. The independent brake application can be released only with the movement of the brake handle toward the release position of the automatic surface. Emergency application can be raised from the locomotive, depressing the independent brake valve handle panel in the release position. The brake valve unit of the cutout cock, see figure 6. Alright, shows the air brake controls, automatic brake valve, the brake cutout cock, the independent brake valve, and the two-position cutout cock. The cutout cock is also known as the double heading of the cock. It is located with the front of the automatic brake stand with series like the position of the surface being used. The cutout position is when and locomotive unit is operated during dead end the train. Dead in a train, the position is the handle in the chain position. The multiple unit 2A valve, equivalent or rotary valve. The three-position valve located with the brake of the brake console is used to enable the locomotive equipped with the 26L brake to be operated with the multiple unit locomotives having the other type of the brake equipment. Note that on some railroad the device is replaced with the two-position cutout cock. The three-position multiple unit 2A valve are lead or dead train 6 or 2-6 trail 2-4 lead dead position valve selected with the locomotive unit operated singly when the lead unit of the multiple unit consists of also used for the locomotive unit with the hull and dead end train. Trail 6 and 26 or 2-6 position is used when the locomotive is trailed behind the locomotive having a 6SL or 6SL and 26L brake equipment. Trail 2-4 position is equipped with locomotive trail behind the locomotive having 2-4RL brake equipment position, pushing handle in and toward changing positions. The 26F control valve, the valve located with the air brake compartment, the actuated with the automatic brake valve, operates in charge and applied with the release of the brake on the locomotive. The release cap on the control valve can be mounted on two ways. The letters GRA over the word release, the position provides with the graduated release for automatic brakes, and with the letters DIR over the word release, the position provides a direct release for automatic brakes. Duplex Air Gauge. The following air gauges are located on the gauge panel in front of the engine man. The main reserve equalizing reserve red hand indicates the main reserve pressure, white hand indicates the equalizing reserve pressure. 2. The brake cylinder brake pipe. The red hand indicates the locomotive brake cylinder pressure, white hand indicates the brake pipe pressure. 3. The application suppression. Red hand indicates the overspeed and safety control penalty. Application white hand indicates suppression if the feature is used. Alright, your cutout cocks. As specified in inspection maintenance period, the following manually operated devices are used. Main reserve cutout cock located on the right side of the locomotive near the rear main reserve. The main reserve drain out cocks located on the end of each of the main reserve. Air filter drain out cock located near the rear end of the fuel tank of the filter. Control air cutout cock located in the air brake compartment. Control air reserve drain cock located in the air brake compartment on the left side. 6. The brake cylinder cutout cock located on the right side of the beneath the locomotive platform, one of each of the truck. Air compressor governor cutout cock located in the air brake compartment. Bell horn window wiper cutout cock located in the air brake compartment. 9 angle cocks each end of the locomotive brake pipe and main reserving equalizer actuating. D. The brake cylinder equalizing independent application relief of the forward sand, pneumatically sanding only right side, reverse sanding, pneumatically sanding only on the left side. 10. Safety control cutouts located with the air brake compartments and cutout switch safety controls when closed. Overspeed cutout cock located in the air brake compartment. Cutout speeds overspeed controls when closed. And 12 slip or suppression cutout cock located in the middle of the air brake air compartment. And 13 dead engine cock located in the air brake compartment. Alright, now we're going to go over figure 7. It shows the spring-loaded water-filled cap, the water level glass, the water storage tank, and the water temperature gauge. Figure 8 shows the on front side of the locomotive. You see the brake equalizing brake cylinder equalizing actuating main reserve equalizer brake pipe and loading brake optional and multiple unit controls. Alright, adjusting the valves. Air regulating valve. Feed valve, see figure 5. The air regulating valve located at the air brake stand automatically maintains predetermined air pressure for the brake system and clockwise movement adjusting handle, increasing the pressure setting. A counterclockwise movement decreases the pressure setting, adjusting to conform to the railroad regulations. Control air reducing valve. The valve maintains predetermined normal air pressure in the air pressure supply with the operation reverse of the brake switching. The pneumatic controls clockwise adjustment with the adjusting screw. Increase the pressure. Normal control air pressure is 70 pounds. Alright, your circuit breaker, see figure 3, operated with the toggle switch open. Circuit manual overload brake. Circuit causes the brake to open. The circuit automatically handle move to the center position, indicating the brake has been tripped. Alright, your breaker is reset by moving to the off, then on after allowing a few minutes for thermal element to break to cool. The breaker should only be reclosed if there is no visible reason for automatic opening of the circuits. If the trip has if it trips after reclosing it, it should be left open unless instructed otherwise. Alright, colored lights and bells. During the normal operation of the bell and all the colored lights are off, the locomotive consists of more than one unit. One unit colored lamps lights will be on effective unit and only. Bell will sound in all units. Note: if troubles occur with two or more units of units at the same time, which cause the alarm bell to ring, turn the engine control panel switch on the all affected units for the start position before attempting to restart any unit with the throttle handle and the lead unit beyond the idle position. It is impossible to start any point unit while the alarm bell is ringing. Low oil, low water lights yellow. See figure 3. Yellow light with the engine control panel will light when either the engine lube, the oil supply, or the cooling water pressure is low. 1. If the engine lubrication oil pressure drops between 10 to 14 psi at 400 RPMs, between 25 to 300 psi at 1000 RPMs, the engine shut down. The yellow low oil indicating lamp lights. After the engine shuts down, the alarm bell will be sound as long as the engine control switch is in the running position. Yellow low water indicator lamp will also come on. The water supply is low. After the engine shuts down, moving the engine control panel switch to the start to the silence the alarm bell. Check the lubrication oil system on the dipstick. Check for the broken cracked oil lines. Also check water seal at the storage tank. Check the water piping leaks. To restart the diesel engine after fault is recorded. Depress the shutdown plunger on the engine governor until it clicks and stays in. Some engine governors may be equipped with two shutdown plungers, one for low oil and one for low water. Be sure that both plungers are reset. Depress the engine start button after all the engine running of the recheck of the signs of the distress and if any condition normal to put in the locomotive on the line. Recheck the signs of distress. If the engine fails to start due to low oil pressure, reset the button. Tripping, do not repeat the cranking. If the locomotive unit is being operated with the multiple engine on effective unit only, will shut down. Alright, hot engine light red. See figure 3. If the engine water temperature becomes excessive, the alarm bell sounds. The hot engine indication light lamp red light. At first opportunity, investigate the cause. When cooling water temperature returns to normal, alarm bell will stop ringing. Turn the engine control switch to start. Will not stop with the running alarm bell. Will turn off the hot engine light. If the cooling water temperature does not return to normal in reasonable length of time, the shutdown engine no battery charge with the blue. If the engine running with the engine compartment control switch for the EC is in the run position, battery charging the equipment fails. With no battery charge, lamp of the blue will light and the alarm bell will sing. Ground relay. 1. If the ground occurs in the main power circuit, the ground relay operates to reduce the engine speed automatically to idle. Remove the power from the traction motor sound the alarm bell and this indicates the pointer of the ground relay will point to the red dot on the target. The pointer can be seen through the round window in the plate covering the ground relay, which is mounted on the engine control panel. B. If the ground occurs with the control circuit, the ground relay may operate during the engine crank cycle. Report the condition. To reset the relay, turn the engine offline, push the ground relay, set reset button on the engine control panel, advance the throttle if the ground relay stays in continue normal operation. Alright, 3. If the ground relay immediately operates the second time, effective must be operated with the use of the units must either be shut down and the necessary engine will be left running, turning the engine control switch to the start, and this takes the unit offline. Your pneumatic control switch is operated with an air brake system. During the safety control of the penalty emergency air brake application, the switch opens, the engine speed is reduced to idle, and the power is removed to the pneumatic control switch. PC open light at the engine position will light. To reset the pneumatic control switch, the switch automatically moves the throttle into the idle. Note that the pneumatic control switch has tripped while the dynamic braking or with the selector valve has been turned off. To reset the circuit breaker, move the automatic brake valve handle to suppression. Depress the safety control foot pedal, and when application light builds the normal pressure, the pneumatic control switch will reclose. Move the automatic brake valve handle and the release. If any of the sleeping during the locomotive operation following occurs, the light brake application slight reduction in acceleration occurs with the locomotive unit and the slipping. When the wheel stops slipping, the brake application is removed automatically. The wheel slip continues to slip more than 2-3 seconds. Slip lamp of the master control stand lights and sands automatically applied with the wheels effective on the unit. Only the slip permits persist. Exertion is gradually reduced automatically. Engine overspeed. The shutdown. In the event of engine overspeed of 1100 RPM, the engine shutdowns automatically. After the overspeed shutdown of the engine control switch to start resets the overspeed mechanism, pushing the knob and the engine overspeed governor figure 9 located on the left side of the engine under the engine control governor. Proceed to start the engine as described under the starting engine. The overspeed again. Do not start the restart the engine. The troubles occur with the two more multiple units at the same time, which causes the alarm to bell to ring. Turn the engine control switch to the all affected units to start position before attempting to restart any unit with the throttle handle on the lead unit, but beyond idle position it is impossible to start any while the alarm bell is ringing during the freezing of the weather. Protect the engine cooling system according to the railroad instruction. Alright, figure 9 shows you the engine overspeed governor reset. So there's your reset button. Safety control foot pedal. The foot pedal is equipped with located with the operator's position. The pedal must be depressed at all times during the locomotive operation. If the operator's foot is removed from the pedal for more than 5 seconds, the brakes will automatically apply to service rate. For further description, see safety control. Emergency stand. Emergency stand is, if installed, is applied with the forward reverse direction automatically during an emergency. Brake application. For sufficient time to stop the train in a multiple unit operation, emergency sanding is applied with all units regardless of whether they are equipped with pneumatic or electro-pneumatic sanding equipment. Locomotive overspeed. When locomotive equipped with overspeed protection exceeds maximum speed, an overspeed application is initiated. Overspeed whistle blows, and in about 5 seconds service the brake application is made. Overspeed application can be suppressed according to the railroad regulations. Alright, your pressure and temperature gauges control air located with the air brake compartment. Normally, air pressure is 70 psi. Indicated main fold air pressure gauge located under the engine control in the operator's cab. See Figure 3. Normal reading of the full engine speed or full load is 16.5 to 21 psi. Fuel pressure gauge located under the engine control panel in the operator's cab. Normal fuel pressure is idle is at 60 psi and fully loaded is at 40 psi. Lube oil pressure gauge located under the engine control panel with the operator's cab. Normal lube pressure is idle is between 20 psi. Fuel loaded is at 75 to 95 psi. Water temperature gauge located on the right side of the water storage tank. The normal operating temperature is 170 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Other gauges, engine lubrication oil dipstick on located on each of the engine near the lube oil fill. The stick is marked with a high or low. Figure 16. Proper level of the idling. Idling is between high and low. Fuel oil sight glass mounted on both sides of the main fuel tank, indicating the level of the fuel tanks. Cooling water sight glass mounted on the cooling water supply tanks, indicated the level cooling water in the system. Markings on the tank indicating the proper level conditions. See Figure 7. Warning: to avoid personal harm from water burns, never remove the water filler cap when the water level is above the full at idle mark. Alright, Figure 10 shows the air compressor and oil fill, oil level gauge, and intercooler drain cock. 4. The compressor lube oil Gardner Denver compressor is gas mounted with the compressor frame with indicate the oil level. The gauge scale with the marked add lower red scale, run green scale, and excessive upper red scale. Westinghouse compressor maintain run level at the oil level indicator gauge. 5. The traction generator gearbox has a dipstick marked with the empty add and full. Proper level is between add and full with the engine stopped. Or 11 shows the traction generator gear unit, your filler pipe, dipstick, and oil drain. And Figure 12 shows your fan blower unit, service unit, the filler and breather cap, the oil level plug, and the oil drain pipe. The fan gear oil level pump plug maintain oil level near spill over. Generate over level slightly generator governor oil level slight glass located on the side of the engine. Air traction generator oil level must be put between markers on the side of the glass when engine is running. Alright, Figure 13 shows the engine control governor low oil reset. Oil level sight glass. Low oil reset back of the governor. The following checks and inspections should be made in accordance with the railroad rules. Before boarding the locomotive, inspect broken, worn, loose, dragging parts, braking, rigging, brake shoes, wearing, traction motor, communicator covers, etc. Check for leaks from outside piping. Properly position all drain and cutout cocks. Check for the proper connection with the air hose jumper cables. If in multiple unit with other units, check fuel supply with other fuel tank sight glasses. After boarding the locomotive, remove the rags and tools from the moving parts of the electrical equipment. Check the diesel engine lubricating oil supply. Oil level should indicate the full measuring gauge for the engine shutdown. Measuring gauge as dipstick is located on each side of the engine. is in marked low. Full the check governor oil supply sight glass for the governor should be full. Oil engine starting oil must be visible between marks on the sight glass. See figure 13. Check air compressor lubricating oil system oil supply on the Gardner Denver proper level blend pointer registers on the green portion of the scale. Oil level indicator below red scale indication oils must be added. The upper red scale indicates the accessible oil with the C figure 10 with the WABCO air compressor. Maintain all these oils. Maintain oil supply to the run level on the gauge. 5. Check the cooling water supply and be sure the water drain valves are closed. Alright, figure 13 shows engine control, governor, low oil, reset oil level sight glass. I guess that showed up twice. Wait. Alright, we read the same paragraph just then. Actually, it's kicking me back. Alright, 6. 6. Check the lubricating oil generator unit dipstick mark from the empty and add full proper level of the adding full marks. Check the design. Check the diesel engine overspeed device and reset the figure 9. Check the engine bearing device and remove the engine. Check the following air cutout cocks open. Air compressor governor control. B. Control air. C. Safety control. If used. B. D. The bell and horn window wiper. E. The over control speed. 10. Check the brake pipe cutout cocks is in the cut-in or vertical position. Brake valve the cutout and double heading cocks on the 26L air brake system should be properly positioned. The multiple unit 2AV 2A valve must be positioned to according to the location unit but the locomotive consists. 13. Check position automatic independent brake valve handles. Automatic brake valve handles should be removed on the all-trail units. 14. Move the engine control switch to start. Properly position multiple unit headlight selector switch. Properly position multiple unit brake lever brake selector switch if furnished. 17. Check the throttle handle is in the idle and select the handle in the off and the reverse handle off. 18. Check the engine dead cog. Check the dead engine cog is live or closed position. Alright, starting the engine. Perform all operations before boarding locomotive and after boarding. If the engine has been stopped for a considerable period of time, the cylinder should be cleared of fuel or water accumulation before starting the engine. Proceed as follows. Apply the engine bearing over device back off the compression relief plugs on the left side of each cylinder. Rotate the engine at least to complete revelation by using the engine bearing over device. C. Removing the bearing over device by the engine tighten all the compression relief plugs before cranking. 2. Check the emergency stop switch is in the run position. Check the ground relay indicating pointer does not point to the red dot. Check the cause for the ground relay operation has been removed. Then push the reset button to reset the relay. 4. Close the relay. Close the battery switch located in the full front of the bulkhead of the operator's cab. Close the following circuit breakers on the engine control panel. A. Control circuit. Note that starting the engine several locomotives multiple unit with the start engines one at a time. Close the control circuit breaker only at one unit. Only on one unit. Push the fuel push pump reset button. Allow the fuel pump to run for a few seconds before starting engine. When all engines are running, close the control circuit breaker on the lead unit. The charging circuit fuel pump and B. The charging circuit B. C. The fuel pump. D. The headlights. E. The running lights. 6. Push the engine start button on the engine control panel. Hold the unit and engine starts approximately 25 seconds. Note that if proper engine lube oil pressure does not build up within approximately 40 seconds, governor will shut off fuel and prevent engine from starting. Caution: do not discharge the battery excessively by repeated attempts to start. And if the first 2 or 3 tries are unsuccessful, recheck the starting procedure. Before moving locomotive, turn the engine control to switch to run. Make the air brake test and the other checks in accordance with the railroad regulations. 3. Check the main reserve air pressure according to railroad rules. Check the control air pressure normal 70 psi. Make independent air brake application. Release that brake and remove any of the blocking wheels. 6. Allow time for the engine cool water to warm up before the moving of the locomotive in accordance with the railroad rules. Faster air pumping. They provide faster air pumping on the locomotive when the reserves have been drained. After the locomotive has been coupled to a train, proceed as follows. Locomotive generator field soap breakers in the off position. Close the control breaker on the engine control panel. Leave the reverse panel in the off position. Move the select handle 1. Move the throttle handle to the 4th or 5th notch as needed. If the main reserve air pressure is below 130 pounds and is not rising, increasing the engine speed will not raise the pressure. Alright, moving a train. Close the generator field circuit breaker on the master control cover. Move the reverse handle from forward or reverse position depending on the direction movement desired. Move the selector handle to the one. Place the foot on the safety control foot pedal, and if used, release the brakes completely. Several minutes may be required to release the brakes depending on the length of the train. Advanced throttle. The throttle handle has full notches by half notches idle and up to notch 8, which each successive notch represents an increase in the power of locomotive traffic effort. Starting the train depends on the type of length, the width, the grade, the condition of the rail, the amount of slack in the train. The locomotive is designed to have easily controlled tractive effort build up the characteristic traffic effort in each of the notch limited to the different the finite values. And as the throttle is moved to the lowest from the highest of the notch, no harm will be done moving the throttle beyond the notch 4 when starting the train. The instrument can easily control the amount of the traffic effort required to accelerate the particular train speed control with the desire of reducing the increasing of the throttle position. Stopping a train model throttle handle in the two idle, they apply with the air brakes accordingly. The railroad regulations: if leaving the operator position after the train has been stopped, move the selector reverse handle to the off position. Reversing the locomotive, bring the locomotive to a full stop, move the reverse handle into the opposite direction, release the brakes, open the throttle. Alright, passing through water. Do not exceed 2 to 3 miles per hour if the water is over the rails. Do not pass through water that is over 2.5 inches above the top of the rail. Passing over the railroad crossing. Do not pass over the railroad crossing in the full power or the traction motor flash over may result. The reducing the power of the throttle handle to the 5th notch below while all units will passing over the crossing. The wheel slip. When a slip occurs with the light independent air brake application is made automatically, that may be observed with the fast flicker of the needle of the brake cylinder air gauge. At the same time, excitation is slightly reduced automatically. Most slips will corrected by the automatic action. If bad rail conditions cause the slide into slip to exceed 3 seconds, the sand is automatically applied to the rail. When the slip light will come on at about the same time the sanding starts. When the wheel slip cannot be controlled, the braking and sanding of the excitation is reduced automatically. If the engine judgment of the wheel slip is not corrected with the automatic control, as may be necessary. Dynamic braking is applied to the locomotive only. A dynamic braking interlock keeps the air brake on the locomotive from being applied with the automatic air brake handle, and dynamic braking are being used. The multiple unit braking selector switch, when installed, must be positioned according to railroad rules. Alright, applying dynamic brakes. Applying the dynamic brake is done with the following manner. Move the throttle to the idle position. Move the selector from 1 to the off to B. Advance the throttle handle to the slowly bunched train slack. Braking is now controlled the throttle handle. After the slack is bunched, advance with the throttle handle until the desired braking effort is obtained. Observe the correct braking effort during the initial period of the dynamic brake application. Caution: do not operate in the 8th notch of the dynamic braking for more than 5 minutes at the speed of above 61 miles an hour. Locomotive geared with a maximum speed of 70 miles per hour. Above 70 miles an hour, locomotive geared with a maximum speed of 80 miles an hour. The amount of braking effort obtained varies with the position of the throttle with the rare speed. Maximum braking effort is obtained with the 8 notch, approximately 22 miles an hour, on the locomotive geared with for 70 mile an hour maximum speed. At approximately 25 miles an hour, the locomotive is geared for an 80 mile an hour maximum speed. Alright, note: while wheel slipping warning may occur while the dynamic braking that indicates the wheels are sliding, the sanding is applied automatically to the wheels on the sliding unit, reducing the throttle position until the warning stops. Using air brakes during the dynamic braking. When necessary, automatic air brakes may be used in conjunction with the dynamic braking. The automatic air brakes will apply with the train, but not on the locomotive. If the automatic air brake handle is moved, the emergency position of the dynamic braking is removed, and the brakes on the locomotive, as well as those in the train, go to emergency application. Independent air brake must not be used during dynamic braking to avoid flat spots on the locomotive wheels caused by sliding. Reducing the dynamic braking. Release dynamic braking is following the manner: 1. Move the throttle handle to the idle. 2. Move the selector handle from B to off to 1. Alright, operating as a leading unit. The operative locomotive is the lead unit with the consistent procedures that follows make necessary preliminary preparation for the operation test, air brake in accordance with the railroad rules, check the generator field circuits, move the reverse handle the desired direction, move the selector handle to position 1. If any of the trailing units require manual transition, then the selector handle from the trailing units must be moved into 2, 3, or 4 of the locomotive speed required the transition of these units. When equipped with a multiple unit braking selector switch, the optional equipment must position the selector switch according to the railroad rules. Operated locomotive in accordance with the operating procedure. Operating as a trailing unit. Air equipment setup. Making a full surface application with the automatic brake valve handle. Move the brake valve with the cutout, the double heading of the cock to the cutout position. Move the automatic brake valve handle to the handle off the position. Move the handle. Move the multiple unit 2A valve with the suit that the brake equipment on the leading unit is either trail 2-4 or trail 2-6 on their 6th position. Place independent brake handle in the release position. Electrical setup. Move the reverse handle to the off position. Remove the handle. Place the selector handle in the off position. Leaving the handle in the position 1 of the trailing unit prevents the loading when multiple unit with some of the type of the locomotives. Open the generator field circuit breaker on the master control. Leave all the breakers in closed position on the engine control panel, except for the control circuit breaker. The running lights of the circuit breaker may be positioned as desired. Place the multiple unit headlight setup switch in the proper position. Place the multiple unit brake selector switch if installed with the proper position. Changing operating ends. Alright, to change operating control for the cab of one locomotive unit to the cab of another, proceed as follows. Vacating the unit air equipment setup, make a full surface brake pipe reduction, allow the time for the air to blow, stop the depress the handle for the brake valve, cutout cock, move it to the cutout position, place the automatic brake valve, hold the handle in the handle off position, move, and then replace the independent brake valve handle in the release position. Depress the handle for the multiple unit 2A valve, move it to the trail 2-4 position or trail 6-2-6, depending on the type of the equipment used for the lead locomotive unit. Alright, vacating an unit's electrical setup unit. Move the reverse handle to the off, and then move the handle, place the selector in the handle in the off position. Open the generator field circuit breaker on the master control. Leave all the breakers in the closed position on the engine control panel, except the control circuit breaker. Running the lights of the circuit breaker must be positioned as desired. Move the multiple unit headlight setup switch to the required position. Operating the unit air equipment setup. 1. Insert the automatic brake valve handle in the handle off position. Move the independent brake valve handle to the full application position. Depress the handle of the multiple unit 2A valve. Move it in the lead and a dead position. Depress the handle and brake valve of the cutout cock with move it into the cutout position required for the service in which the locomotive is operated. Operating unit electrical setup. Insert the reverse handle in the reverse mast with the control. Close the generator field circuit breaker on the master control. Close all the circuit breakers in the engine control panel. Move the multiple unit headlight setup switch to the required position. Alright, to operate with other types of units. If the unit's locomotive consists of a gear with the differing maximum speed, do not run at speed success with the recommended unit having lowest maximum permissible speed. Similarly, do not operate with low speed but long enough to exceed the speeding of the traction motor rating of any of the units with the locomotive consists of the U25, U25 locomotive because of the high horsepower power axle to develop more attractive effort of any of the given speed with the unit's lower horsepower axle. The U25 unit is equipped with the automatic power matching control with the power is automatically reduced to lower level under the certain conditions with the operating low locomotive speed. Special operation instruction will be required with the feature. When leading unit is slipping excessively with the power limit, the switch can be moved to the notch 7 to reduce the power from the unit. When trailing units are operating with the full power, this will reduce the tractive effort for the leading unit, will usually improve the ability of the locomotive to hold the rail under the bad conditions. Units equipped with the braking control limit regulators can be operated multiple unit with the U25 locomotive dynamic braking, regardless of the gear ratio. The difference of maximum braking current ratings in some of the units do not have current limiting regulators. The locomotive system must always have operated as not so exceeding the brake current of the unit having the loss for the braking current rating. The special operating instructions will be required for this case. When a locomotive unit with the 26L equipment is operated with the multiple leading trailing 24RL equipment units, with the units equipped with the brake of the number 6 type, the following hose connections must be made. Are your 26L brake pipe, main reserve equalizing actuating pipe, brake pipe, equalizing the pipe and sand pipe. 224RL brake pipe maximum main reserve equalizing pipe, actuating pipe, independent application release to pipe, and sanding pipe 2. Or with number 6, the brake pipe main reserve equalizing pipe, brake BC, brake control equalizing pipe, sanding pipe. Alright, 26L and 24RL equipped locomotives units are operated together in combination. 26L and number 6 equipment locomotives units are operated together in combination with 26L equipped locomotives leading of the one or more 24RL equipped locomotives. The number 6 equipped units with or without actuating pipe can trail. Only if the actuating pipe unit have number 6 type equipment is operated between the leading of the 26L equipment unit of the trailing 24RL and 26L equipped unit. Alright, a brake pipe leakage test. A brake pipe leakage test can be performed in the following manner: with the braking system fully charged with the brake valve cut-out cock in the cut-in position. Move the automatic brake valve handle properly toward the service position until the equalizing reserve pressure has reduced 15 psi. Then stop and leave the handle in position. As soon as the brake pipe pressure has reduced to the level of the equalizing reserve pressure, continuous blow from the brake valve exhaust, press the brake valve cutout cock with the handle moving into the cutout position. Immediately observe the brake pipe gauge, then time the pressure due to the accordance with the railroad rules. After completion of the brake pipe leakage test, move the brake valve handle further toward service position. Reduce the equalizing reserve pressure slightly below the brake pipe pressure. Brake may later release and return the brake valve handle to the release position. So you go from service position to release. Deadheading. Place the independent brake valve handle in the release position. Automatic brake valve handle in the handle off position. Depress the brake valve cutout with the cock handle. Move the cutout position. Depress the handle with the multiple unit 2A valve. Move the lead or dead position. Open the dead engine cock. Alright, draining water system. The weather above the freezing cooling water system may be drained, opening the main water drain valve on the right side of the locomotive near the base of the lube oil cooler. See figure 14. The freezing weather, in addition with opening the main drain valve, remove the plug at the base of the water pump. Be sure that both the cab heater valves are open. Alright, your multiple unit operation, figure 14. Shows the water drain valve, the water drain also removing the primary bottom of the pump and lube oil cooler. Then we're going to back out of this. Alright. From 1 to 29 across the top. Sandbox. 2. Hand brake. 3. Operating control gauge panel. 4. Air brakes. 5. Emergency fuel cutoff button. 6. Engine control panel. 7. Air compressor. 8. Flexible coupling. 9. Auxiliary generator left side. 8. Exciter right side. Traction gear case. 11. Traction generator. Fuel heater optional. 12. Your engine control governor. 13. Overspeed governor. 14. Fuel strainer. 15. Fuel booster pump. 16. Lube oil dupes both sides. 17. Lube oil filler. 18. Lube oil strainer. 19. Flexible couplings. 20. Turbocharged. 21. Water fills pressurized. 22. Water storage tank. 23. Lube oil cooler. 24 flexible coupling, 25 radiator fans, 26 radiator, 27 equipment blower, 28 braking resistor, 29 sandbox, and also now 30 from right to left across the bottom. A primary air cleaner, 31 traction motor gear case, 32 traction motor, 33 engine air filters, 34 air filter oil level, 35 main air reserve, 36 lube oil filter, 37 fuel tank sump fuel, 38 fuel tank, 39 fuel level gauges, 40 fuel tank fill both sides, 41 auxiliary air alternator, 40 is a fuel tank fill both sides, 41 axle alternator all sides, all axles, 42 batteries right side, 43 cab heater, 44 control compartment left side, air brake compartment right side. And that completes the operating manual for model U25 diesel electric locomotive, General Electric.